I'm Raya.
And I'm Trae.
We'll share our own experience building and selling a 7-figure business, owning multiple successful brands, and share the stories of other entrepreneurs who are incredibly successful in business.
This is Billion Dollar Vision, the podcast where we educate current and future entrepreneurs to expand your vision, give you strategy, and help you take your business far beyond what you thought was even possible.
Your future is limitless, and it begins right here, right now.
Let's go. Welcome back for episode 3 of our series on team. This is the Billion Dollar Vision podcast. My name is Trae, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Raya. And today I'm going to ask her, what are the top 3 mistakes you see estheticians and med spa owners making when they first start out?
When they first start out solo?
Well, with the team. They say with the team.
With a team. I
got one big one if you want me to help you start.
Okay.
They struggle removing themselves from the treatment room because they think that their clients don't want to see anyone else.
I was thinking the same thing, but I was trying to figure out how to word it. Yeah. Maybe not removing themselves fast enough, because what happens is, and it's not that you have to remove yourself when it financially makes sense. But sometimes, a lot of times, it's quicker than people may think. And by giving clients the option to book with you, whether they're new or returning, most people want to book with the owner, right? And so by limiting your time or removing yourself, you don't give people another option, and you have to learn the skill set of giving clients certainty to book with your team. But also, once you remove yourself and don't give clients the option to book with you and they find your business, there's no one else. I mean, they can't book with you. They have to book with your team, right?
Yeah.
I'd say the second one is not investing in paid ads for their team to help them get booked. A lot of solo estheticians, a lot of them either left their former business and clients followed them because of social media, and that gets gray with soliciting. And so they didn't ever have to learn how to market besides Instagram, or they just only did Instagram and they got really lucky and they're one of those people that does really well, and they, and maybe a few Google reviews. But when you have a team, it's just completely different. You have, like I said, the responsibility of someone's livelihood. You have to invest. It's just another level. And so if you're not willing to invest in your team probably won't. Maybe one person you could get booked, maybe, but not a whole team.
And also the other part of it is, if you're not willing to invest in your team will realize that.
Yeah.
Right. And you probably won't keep them around, because someone out there will invest into their team, and they're just going to, as an employee, most employees are fine. They're looking for
stability.
They're looking for someone that cares about them and their success and well-being. And they're looking for a good community. Right. And when people job hop, typically they're searching for that without knowing that that's exactly what they're searching for. So you have to do what it takes and go the extra mile to book up your team. Not only will it help you, but it's also going to help them.
Yeah.
And it's going to let them know that you care about them.
And if they wanted to market themselves, they'd open their own business. It's very easy to go solo.
Exactly.
They're not looking to be like their own Instagram or finding clients on their own. They're looking for a job to help them get clients. Right.
There's a reason why they're looking for a job. Next question is, why do you think it's so hard for people to overcome their limiting?
I have one more really good one.
What is it?
It's real fast. The biggest mistake, people don't protect themselves the right way from their team. But we teach that in our program.
We do teach that.
You have to protect yourself.
In 7-figure team, we give our students and clients contracts. We have HR specialists give you, even if you have not employees, even if you have contractors that you're hiring, we do have contractor agreements that we're actually giving you this year. And
all the mistakes I made that I didn't protect myself, those lessons too.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So why do you think it's so hard for people to overcome limiting beliefs around money, especially when it comes to investing money into education?
I mean, the biggest thing about a belief is you believe it, right? Like sometimes it's hard to recognize your own beliefs. So that's why getting around people that think differently, that think bigger, and are actually doing it is
Why
very
is it
helpful.
hard for them to get around their own beliefs? Obviously,
Maybe
once
they
you
don't
make the
have-
investment,
yeah.
you're around other people who make the investment, but something has to switch prior to you making the investment.
So I think it's hard for people because maybe you don't, either you have such strong like legs under your table, like if your belief is a tabletop and you have under the table there's legs, and every leg is proof of why you believe what you believe, right? And it probably stems from like back in childhood, from your parents and how you grew up. And if you don't have any outside proof, if you don't have proof within your own family or your own friend circle that it's possible, well, you definitely are not going to believe it, right? But once you get that dose, it might be something so small of like, let's take Jamie Kern-Lima, built and sold $1 billion business. She started it in her living room with no money, drained her savings account, had $100 left in her account, and within 8 years built $1 billion company to sell. It's like, okay, well, if she can build $1 billion company with no outside investments, right, or investors from her living room, it shows me it's possible. And I might not have the belief level yet that I could build and sell $1 billion business, but if she could build $1 billion business, it gives me even a next level of, well, maybe $1 million business is possible, maybe five, whatever level you're possible. At, it bumps it up.
Yeah, it has to be possible.
When we invested in Chris Harder's mastermind, it was a $60,000 investment. The best thing I personally got out of that was the people in the room. Almost everyone in that room was building a company to sell for $100 million. Never in my life before that did I, think it was possible to build a company for $100 million. Or even want that. But it was so normalized by the people we were surrounding ourselves with that not only did it seem possible, but now all of a sudden, all of these ideas were coming to us of, well, we could do this and build and sell for 100 million. We could do this. And like, it was like flowing in of even the ideas of what could be possible for that. And so I think the biggest thing is like, you just need to look for outside proof of possibility, right? And inundate your mind with that and almost like brainwash yourself, right? Like tune out. Sometimes you have to tune out your mom, your dad, your really close family, because they're not the ones to talk to because they haven't done it themselves. And they may tell you it's not possible. They just don't see it. They might see it as crazy if you tell them you're trying to go. First of all, they might have thought it was crazy when you went solo in general. Now you're trying to hire a team and grow $1 million business. That's insane. Your family, maybe they're working the same job for 30 years at $50,000 a year and, very traditional life. But if you're being more entrepreneurial and untraditional, you have to start surrounding yourself with those types of people. So tuning out the noise of people that have never done it themselves and start looking for proof of possibility. And that will at least be the first step. And when you invest, you have leverage. When you invest, now I am financially tied to making sure this works. If I gave our program to free, let's say like someone in my family, our family now, but like on my side of the family came to me and was like, hey, Raya, I really want to open an aesthetic business and I want to go all out in the beginning. I want to grow a team. Can I get your program for free? I would say absolutely not. And the reason I would say that is because I know that people do not value free. They do not value what they don't pay for. And if this person really wanted to make their dreams come true, I think it's possible, but you need to invest so that you do the work. Because if it's free and you just watch it and you don't do the work, there's no financial tie to it. There's no leverage. You're not going to get the results. And if I care about you and I want you to get results, I'm going to say, hey, you can get it at the same price everyone else invests in it and do the work. And if you invest, $6,000 or whatever it is into this, you have the potential to make $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $1 million a year, is that worth it to you? Do you think you can do it? Because I can't do it for you. I can teach you, though. I could give you the shortcut. And so I forget the original question, but.
Well, that was a good answer. And it brings me to something like, one of the things that holds up people is making the investment, right? There's nothing that you're going to be able to do in life where you're not going to have to make some sort of investment, like we talked about earlier. And for most people listening, you need to make the investment. Like, I can say this, hopefully I'm wording this right. It takes a shorter amount of time to learn the thing that you need to make the investment in for most of us than it does for us to actually make the decision to make the investment. So for example, Facebook ads, just one example. It took me 2 days essentially to learn it, but it took me about a year and a half to actually make the decision to say, all right, I want to do this. Once I
invest in learning.
Yeah. And once I did it, I think we paid the guy $5,000. Our last launch on Facebook ads alone, we made over 300,000. So it's you can't be afraid to make the investment and think about the short downside. You got to think about the unlimited upside.
And I honestly think that's what I see. There's so many people that teach now that have either they haven't done it or haven't done it at a very high level for like what they're teaching. But let's take team, for example. I see people teaching on team that have never done it themselves, but also have invested once in like $100 program or $100 day course or something free. And like, I just feel like the reason we're so confident in what we do and what we teach is, one, because the proof, right? Not only the proof in one business, but the proof in a second, that like the business principles that we teach work. And secondly, because we're not scared to invest. Like, I will never ask you to invest $20,000 when I haven't done that myself. And like the most I've invested in a mastermind is $85,000. And there's no one-to-ones on that. It's all group, right? Like, but I've seen the return on investment. So that's why I'm not scared to ask, and you're not scared to ask, is because we know the value of it. And we also know when you ask for an investment like that, and our programs are nowhere near that, they should be, because we take what we've done and we like, how can we add even more value than what we pay for, the things that we invest in, and we do. But we know the value of investing and the leverage and the level of people that end up investing in that group. And that's your new peer group. And those are the people that are going to be like, hey, in our Slack group, $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 months, that was normal. Every day, someone's like, I just hit $60,000. I just had a $40,000 night. Like, nowhere else in the aesthetic industry are you going to say like that's normal, right?
Yeah, one of our students said, but to put it into perspective, in January, they were having $19,000 months. And they wrote us and said in July, they called it a slow month for them. In July, they were already at 70,000. So
yeah, and she invested $12,000 to learn the shortcut. She invested
$12,000 to learn the shortcut.
She made that back in what, less than a month?
Yeah, in less than a month, she made it back. And yeah, you gotta tune out family members. You gotta tune out the haters, and you gotta put yourself around the right people so you can make the right decisions, ask the right questions. It's gonna be some tough days in entrepreneurship. Every day is not great. There's some down days, and you gotta have a group of people who can help uplift you during those times, and make sure you keep your reality focused on exactly what it is. So with that being said, I also want to say we've had several students of ours go on to have children, be able to stay home with those children.
Yeah, that's the best.
It's been amazing to see those stories. And the last and final question is, how does it feel to now we're pregnant with our third child? What is having a team? What difference has having a team made for you personally?
Oh, having a team is everything. I would not be here today, like sitting in this house, had I not hired like the first employee ever 10 years ago, right? Like what you do 10 years ago is, or what you do now is going to affect your life 10 years, in the next decade. And so the best decision I ever made was to hire. And I don't think either of us would ever run a business without a team, right?
Yeah.
We have a team, people may see it as an online business and it's only Raya and Trae and stuff, but if you know Stephanie, but we have a ton of people.
Yeah, seven coaches. We have tech. We have copywriter, attorney. So yeah, we got
a COO.
That's right. Virtual COO.
Someone that manages the membership. I mean, we have a ton of people on our team.
Yeah, so we're at about 12 right now.
Yeah, and not everyone's full time, but it's still a team. If it's one person, it's a team.
Yep.
And so, what I would say to first of all, I think we're so visionary and such dreamers, both of us, and that's why I think we are such great husband and wife. Is we always see something bigger than what we're currently at. But at one point, this, I mean, I feel like I'm living my dreams from 4 years ago, right? Everything here was on my vision board, down to the designer that we ended up hiring. I had been following for 10 years and could not afford. I couldn't even afford one piece of furniture from a store that she shops at, let alone her. And just to be able to be home with our kids, working from home, and I still work, but it's just different because we sold Flirt last year. Traveling, just everything in life, it is such a dream, and this would just never have come true without a team. Couldn't sell a business without a team. Couldn't travel without a team, without shutting down. Had I, back in 2017, not been able to even remove myself from the treatment room, and had I not invested, it was $11,000 into a business event. But even before that, it was $6,000. So it was closer to 20, or not 6, it was more than that. But in a 3-month period, it was about $20,000. And every event got me closer and closer to the point where at that business event, I came home and removed myself. And, I got diagnosed with MS where my business would be shut down. I would not have a business, right? This is back in 2017. And so team is everything. And I think the biggest thing I can tell estheticians that are solo right now, or starting to grow their team, or they have a team and they're struggling, is learning how to do it the right way and learning the shortcut, and in general, having a team is thinking the long-term game. And you really have to look at your life and what you want for your life, and the level of freedom you want. How much income do you want to make? What does your life look like if you want to start a family? Or some people don't want to start a family and they just want to travel the world. What does your life look like? And for most people, you need a team to achieve that. Because if a business is solely reliant on you, it's a very risky way to run a business long term. For now, some people go solo at 20 years old, and 5-6 years, you might be fine. But what happens when you get pregnant? What happens when you have a health scare? I was just telling Trae last night, in the last week, I've seen at least 5 people announce on their Instagram pages they're shutting down for personal reasons. Who wants to have a business for 5 years and do all this work and have to shut it down? And so the best thing that we do, I think, and the most impactful thing is when we see our clients have kids and they don't have to shut their business down, and they have a business that's running while they're on maternity leave, while they're home with a baby. And they get to decide if they want to come back to the treatment room, or if they just want to focus on growing the business, which most people do. Most people don't want to go back once they have that taste of freedom. But yeah, team is everything. And and this is going to sound a little some people might not like the way that I say this, but a true business has a team. Businesses were not meant to do alone. If you're doing business alone, solo, I think it's amazing you went solo. I totally respect you in that. But it's not a truly ran business. You are the business. Something happens to you, there's no business, right?
I was just telling someone else this, and they said that they're not interested in having a team, but they are interested in hiring a receptionist. And I explained to them that that is having a team.
Yeah, even one person.
Yeah, like even if you're solo right now, you would have so much more time back if you had someone who was answering the phone, responding to DMs, answering emails, confirming appointments, checking people out. You would have so much more time back. So it doesn't have to be that you may not want to have the vision of a 10-person, 5-person, 12-person business. But even that one employee could help save you so much more time.
Yeah. And you can choose either you can take that time and make more money, right? Or you can take that time and go hang out with your husband, go hang out with your kids, go have fun, go take a trip, right? So time is the most important thing we have. And I think for a lot of people, they don't realize, you go into business for freedom. And a lot of times when you're solo, the last thing you get is more freedom. And so team is truly the way to freedom in whatever way that, freedom looks for you.
And with that being said, we appreciate it. And thank you for tuning in.
Remember, it all starts with your big vision.
Stay determined and always keep your billion-dollar vision alive. Please, wherever you are listening, subscribe and leave us a 5-star review.
It would mean the world to us.
See you next time.
I was listening for too long. Something in my heart told me to